Hello, my name is Brianna. My friends call me Bree. This is not easy for me. I'm doing this for Traumatic Brain Injury Month. I am not sponsored by anybody. I'm not with any organization. I just want to get my story out there. I got what you call an invisible disability. I got my traumatic brain injury when I was about 13 months old. And the information I have on it is from family and close friends, and, well, this is how it goes. I was handing my dad a wet rag, and he was holding a blow dryer. I handed it to him, and the electricity went through him, and and went through me. I dropped and went into a grand mal seizure. And, I don't know the exact timeline, but I ended up at the hospital. I died, at least a couple of times. I was in the hospital for quite some time. By the time everything was said and done, I was blind. And so they brought somebody in to help me learn how to get around. By that time, I was starting to see my world. And also, I was also having seizures of all kinds, like grand mal seizures. I had space outs. I had violent seizures. And through school, I was teased. I got everything everything short of being shoved in a locker. And today, in current day, I have my brain age is about 15. I can read more than I can write, but a lot of times not enough to comprehend what's on the page. I have 4 beautiful kids, and every time they go to a new school, I have to tell their teachers or staff about my disability, and it just makes me cry, because I have to tell them I have a hard time helping them with their homework. Most of the time, they're reading things to me. I can't help them because of my disability. I can't help them. But I learned to crochet and knit, and I am also a dance fitness teacher. I drive. I learned at a late age, but I manage. But if you would like to know a little bit more, just leave me a comment, and I'll do my best to respond. And if you want to know any about the world through my eyes, see my crochet work, or know about my dance fitness through my eyes, or anything else in that matter, like I said, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Or like, if you want to see some more videos, give me a good thumbs up. And thank you for listening and taking the time to watch this. Thank you.
My name is Lloyd, and I'm Brianna's father. When Brianna was just 13 months old, there was a terrible accident, and she was electrocuted from a hairdryer. She spent several weeks in the hospital, some in intensive care, and even stopped breathing at one point and had to be brought back to life. When she finally started coming around, we found out that she was completely blind and paralyzed. Somehow, by some miracle nobody really knows, her sight and her motor skills came back. But she was left with a disability that will be with her for her whole life. She had a very, very hard time catching up with things she needed to do in life. It's been an incredible struggle growing up through school and all through her adult life, in a big way because her disability isn't obvious. This is really short, small part of the struggles that she's been through. Since the accident, life will never be the same. But it is really, truly amazing how far she's come in such a long way since the accident.
Hi, I'm Brianna's mom, Becky. First and foremost, she's my miracle baby. She has gone through a lot in her life. I'm not going to get into all the details. I see that her dad has told you some. I'm going to elaborate just a couple points. When she was in the hospital for 32 days, every time they brought her out of her sedatives, she had a stroke, and she would have her grand mal seizures. She was blind. There was a lot of issues. 32 days in the hospital, they finally brought her out. They don't know how she was going to come out of all of it. I do know that one doctor told us that she needed to be put in an institution, that she would never be a normal person. Well, I sure wish I could see him now, because she is. She's got her issues. She came out of the hospital blind, survived a stroke, many other things. When we brought her home, she had to be in a playpen for many, many weeks because she couldn't be touched. All she did was roll. After that, she had anywhere between 50 to 75 seizures a day. What this all stems down to is when she was in the hospital, she quit breathing for 30 minutes. All of her seizures, the stroke, her blindness was because they said that something got severed between her eye and her brain. So after all that, and we overcame that, and we overcame the blindness, and she was walking and learning how to walk. She was a brand new baby at 13 months old. After we did all these hurdles, and the biggest hurdle I think of all was the seizures. The seizures were ongoing, constantly, all day, every day. Anywhere between 50, 75. I couldn't even tell you the name of all of them. There was so many of them. That went on for 3 years. So in that process, we really couldn't evaluate her as far as what was going to be her end goal. How much brain damage she had, because they couldn't really test her at this point because she was so small. They couldn't really tell what it would be. So as she got older, then it came more aware. Anyway, so the testing was hard. We didn't really know until as she got older, as she got to be 6 or 7, and then she couldn't read any more than by the time she was in junior high, she couldn't read any more than a 3rd grade level. Her attention span was almost none. She even to this day, she will never look you directly in the eye. There are just a lot of little things that she can't do like as a normal person. Not that she's not. She is. She's her. She's Brianna. She's become a beautiful woman. Has 4 children, a husband. She's doing as well as she can. I think the hardest part about brain damage to somebody is you don't physically see it. You don't know that she's got a handicap. You don't know that she's got a traumatic brain injury. That's probably the hardest part, is people look at her and go, what? I don't see what's wrong with her, because you don't see what's wrong with her unless you actually sit down and maybe talk to her a little while. So she's going to do fine. We love her. She's a good girl most of the time. And I love you, and bye.
So Brianna asked me to do a quick video on kind of my story and her life story. Unfortunately, you know, I didn't live a lot with Brianna. I joined the military at 18, and she was pretty young, and I only lived with my mom, Brianna and Aubrey, for a couple years out of my first 18 years. So really, my earliest memories of Brianna was really when she was a baby, and it was about the time when Aubrey was born. And I do remember it was shortly, I think, I moved in with my mom. She was pregnant with Aubrey, and I'm pretty sure that was right after the incident, whatever had happened, where Brianna had kind of regressed back to basically infant stage, and I think she was around 2 at that time. And I don't think I was there for the incident, but and I don't know all the details, only what I've heard through stories and different people telling me what happened. But I do remember that you know, her being almost 2 or so, but really acting like she was first born. I mean, she had to learn how to walk, talk, do everything over again. So I do remember that. And then, you know, as she grew older, it was obvious she wasn't progressing like a normal child would, and you know, had some, you know, issues with epilepsy and other issues, you know, that goes along with all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, my piece of the story is maybe small, but I do remember, you know, when she was a baby, when it happened, you know, at least shortly after. And, you know, I only lived with her for a short amount of time when she was growing up. But you know, I just remember she was maybe a little regressed as compared to other girls her age. So I do remember that piece. But other than that, you know, she's always been good-hearted, and, you know, she's done the best with the hand that she was dealt. And, you know, I left at 18 and kind of never looked back to join the military and travel around the world. And, you know, now I'm back in the area and get to see her and her wonderful family. And she's got 4 beautiful kids. And, you know, she is who she is. She's Brianna, and I love her, and she's my sister. So that's my piece of the story. Thanks.